What up, YouTube? LaX, come back at you with another RTS cast. Today we have a 3 versus 3 matchup featuring the Scouring. Some of you may be familiar with this game already, but for those of you who are not, this is a new RTS game that is heavily inspired by the Warcraft series. Effectively, it's just Orcs versus Humans. In this case, it's a 3 versus 3 mirror matchup, though, which I think should be really interesting. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams. I did write down their names because their names don't appear when I cursor over them. I am going to be referring to them as their colors later on because my brain will break if I try to remember their names and cast at the same time. So spawning on the top left-hand side of the map, it's our white Humans player LoneWolf with his ally spawning just to his left. It's our yellow Humans player popapis with his ally spawning just below him. It's our purple Humans player name_MK going up against team number 2 spawning on the right-hand side of the map. It's going to be our red Humans player Bubbas with his ally spawning just to his right. It's our teal Humans player Christo1 spawning just above Crystal. It's our blue Humans player FrankBlack. With that said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. If you see a big black bar on the bottom of the screen, that is the replay UI. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, so that is blacked out. Looks like the white player is going for the creep camp kind of in the middle of the map, but we already have an engagement here on the bottom left-hand side of the map against the purple player right now. This is really fast. Usually I don't see action in this game until about the 6-minute mark because the players decide to clear up the creep camps, but these players spawned right next to each other, which was a recipe for chaos. Looks like the swordsman here for our red player already infiltrating the barracks. So one thing to mention is your infantry units, the melee ones at least, can climb structures, which we'll see here shortly, throwing up ladders, climbing up to the barracks, and doing tremendous damage to this thing. Oh man, okay, it looks like we have one archer here landing in the fort, so you can kind of take the high ground, like artificial high ground, using your structures and attack that way with bows and arrows. Later on, you can get actual bow and arrow reserves, excuse me, and use your workers, in this case the peasants, to reinforce your base. But night is also falling. We'll see if the skeletons spawn. You do have the option to turn that off, I believe. Otherwise, once night falls, you have to deal with really aggressive creeps. And depending on what you're actually playing as, or like the version you're playing as, you might have like a lich or something that spawns as well that will summon other skeletons. It's a lot to deal with, but you can use it to your advantage. If you feel like you have enough defense back home, you can kind of attack with the skeletons against another player. So I'm going to keep an eye on the mini-map, and we'll see if these players have to deal with skeletons. And in fact, right here, I didn't even need to look at the mini-map. We got one skeleton already. As you can see, it is neutral. This one chasing down the archers for our white player. Now, if you're new to this channel and you're interested in watching more RTS content, well, we are on the road to 10K subscribers, which is surreal to me. If that's something you're interested in watching more of, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And real big shout out to my members and patrons. I really appreciate that extra support. Now, even though night has fallen, our red player deciding to be aggressive, but I think LoneWolf, our white player here, has more than enough to take this out, especially with that artificial high ground, loading up a bunch of archers into both of these barracks. This swordsman here, though, tanking a bunch of hits and running up the barracks, but I think either dying or despawning, or maybe it was a graphical anomaly. I think it was this guy actually deciding to disengage. But we got more units here, more archers from the teal player for team number 2. So it's teal and red versus white right now. And a bunch of skeletons as well. They're doing exactly what I suggested or implied that they could do, but ultimately deciding to run away. A lot of skeletons actually getting aggroed on these archers, and maybe keeping a little bit of pressure off our white player. Taking a look at what's going on. Looks like this town hall is being upgraded to a fort. So you start with a town hall, then you can upgrade it to a fort, and later on you can upgrade it to a castle. Another barracks being placed right here. These peasants working, even though they're literally being axed by skeletons. One other really cool thing about this game is you have a MOBA mode, and I haven't seen it in the competitive scene yet, which is a shame, because the MOBA mode, you control a hero, and the AI controls the RTS aspect. So it's like this RTS MOBA hybrid. I do have some theories on why it's not as popular, and that's because you have other MOBAs that are more mainstream than RTS. RTS, for a lack of a better word, is a sort of dying genre of game, and MOBA is not. So it makes sense that if you have a new RTS game or a game that provides RTS type of gameplay, that players would be more interested in trying that out. But man, I really liked the MOBA mode. You had like dungeons that spawned right next to your base, and you could dungeon crawl, level up your hero, do some looting. You can buy equipment as well. You can attack with your army. So you know your MOBA hero is like, he's like the leader of your faction, which is really cool. It's cool to see. It's a lot of fun to play, and we don't see it nearly enough, I don't think. I mean, we haven't seen it at all in the competitive scene. Anyway, with that tangent aside, daylight is breaking. These skeletons should be despawned at this point, and the white player, LoneWolf, who for some reason I just remembered his name more easily, looks like attacking the blue player, who is named FrankBlack. Want to give credit where credit is due for all players, because I mean, they're all playing what appears to be a pretty cool match of the Scouring. I have to jump on these replays a lot faster because the updates roll out for this game pretty frequently, and they outdate the replays in the Discord. So I try to open a replay and it says I can't open it because the version of the game is no longer valid. Oh, here we go. Got gladiators here as well. Dual-wielding melee units going up against the swordsman here. One other thing to mention, though, is your units do level up, and they get buffed after each level. So anyways, looks like yellow is chasing red right now, and looks like teal is actually coming to help defend the red player. Some purple archers here from team number 1 at team number 2's base, in the red base at least, who is a team number 2 player. Here we go, though. A lot of chaos on the bottom right-hand side of the map, but looks like purple may be overextending just a little bit. One archer left, going down ever so violently, and yep, that's all she wrote for team number 1's attempt, I think. Wait, what's going on right now? Wait a minute. Nope, never mind. I was not looking at these units correctly. This is all team number 1 stuff right here. All these archers are for LoneWolf, and the yellow player here as well, popapis, trying to help reinforce this army, and purple bringing in more archers as well. Oh, this looks brutal for Bubbas. I believe red is Bubbas. Yes, it is. Oh, man. Okay, so yeah, this looks like it might be a very, very tough situation for our red player. There's not a lot of reinforcements from his allies, and all he's got is a handful of units, some archers and the swordsman. Putting the archers in the barracks, though, not bad. He's also got a smithy, which will allow him to build cannons, which do a lot of AoE damage, and they are very, very effective if you put them on top of the high ground, like the barracks or your fort, or later on your castle. Here we go, though. More archers. Now, one thing, at least in my experience in the early game with the Scouring, is range is pretty much king, at least when you want to throw a lot of damage really quick, because they are ranged. As you can see, they do shoot up, but they can't climb into the barracks. So you do need melee units like a swordsman, and I don't know actually if the gladiators can climb structures, but as we can see here, looks like our red player climbing the barracks for the purple player as well. Blue right here attacking LoneWolf, and here we go. The bow reserves has been researched for LoneWolf as well. These are peasants, workers in this case, that are in the fort, throwing down some extra damage and more chaos right here. This is the fastest paced Scouring game I think I've covered so far. And oh, these archers attacking the peasants just working so hard to mine gold, and they are getting absolutely destroyed right now. It looks like Teal isn't even running these things away. I would put them in the high ground. I don't know if he's done bow and arrow reserve research, but that is something to keep in mind if you are in this situation. But we got the Rippers that are basically just Hulks with Wolverine claws, which I think is awesome. Melee only unit, if you could not tell. One thing I also want to say is some people mentioned that this game looks a bit mobile, and I can see the resemblance, but I also think for a single dev, this game is really damn impressive. I won't lie. And also, I want to encourage other devs to work on, you know, games, take risks, because RTS, like I said, is a dying breed of game, and it's really cool to see people trying to make modern versions of it. Oh, here we go. Yep, more archers on the back of this base right here. The blue player. I switched observers, so now he appears as green on the minimap. That is my bad. So whoever you're technically observing will appear as friendly or green. So he's blue. Rest assured he's blue, but he appears as green on the minimap.
Our allies are
he is a team number 2 player, in case you forgot. Here we go, though. More action in the middle of the map. It's still daylight. I feel like it should be nighttime soon. Actually, according to the clock, it looks like it's technically noon in game time right now. So we are a little bit far away from the next day-night cycle. In the versions of the game I played, each day-night cycle brings in more threats. So the skeletons become more aggressive, or the Lich is spawned as a higher level. We did see a Lich last time, so I don't think the Lich will spawn in this game, but I could be wrong about that. Here we go, though. A lot of movement of red units running to the white player's side of the map, and here we go. Oh, man. Oh, stables. Wait a minute. So I think this will allow for cavaliers to be built, which are like horsemen for the humans. And it has been spotted by red, but I don't see any cavalry. Excuse me. My tongue just stopped working. LoneWolf asking for help. Looks like he is way out of position to defend this, running his army back, and they are all archers right now. Yellow coming to reinforce his ally, though. And it looks like night is shortly going to fall. We're only at hour 13, though, which is kind of interesting. So I guess they live very far up north, because the night cycle appears pretty quick. Actually, it's going to be night at, what, like the 2 o'clock equivalent in the afternoon? Maybe the day-night cycle clock is a little bit off, or maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, I think aesthetically it looks great, but look at this. Team number 2 stacking their armies. This is exactly what you want to see in a team matchup in RTS. LoneWolf, he's got a lot of archers, though. I'd like to see him put more stuff in the high ground. And yep, right here, looks like the peasants manning the fort. The cavaliers here as well. They will be able to throw out a pretty decent amount of damage, and they also spawn with a decent amount of HP. Look, a level 1 Cavalier has 180 HP as compared to, well, this is a level 3 Archer with only 70 HP. So let's see if we can find a level 1 Archer. Here we go. Nope, that's a level 1. Or level 2, excuse me. So a lot of them are already level 2. Here we go. Level 1, they have 50 life as compared to a level 1 Cavalier with 180. So a pretty big difference. But LoneWolf, our white humans player, able to man the high ground here. Bubbas telling his allies to stay, and it looks like this expansion for, what is this, our teal player will be under attack by a bunch of skeletons. That is rough. Skeletons now coming towards the white player as well. Oh, man, LoneWolf, I feel like he can't catch a break right now. And speaking of a break, I don't think I've breathed for like 15 minutes at this point. Okay, not too bad. I think this could have been a lot worse for our white humans player. Looks like the purple and yellow player are just chilling for the time being. Oh man, one other thing I forgot to mention, if you're not familiar with this game, is you have farms. So your farms provide you supply, but you actually have to man them. In this case, this is the Reforged mod, which puts 4 workers instead of 3 on a farm, and instead of being supply capped, your units starve and get severely debuffed. LoneWolf saying something to Yellow. Maybe he wants Yellow to help him out here because there's still quite a bit of skeletons chilling. It doesn't look like they have a level, though, and I don't see a lich. So I think these guys are just going to spawn indefinitely until daylight arrives. Okay, here we go, though. Also, what I was looking at that day-night cycle, that was actually the game time. So that is my bad. I was thinking military time. Nope, that is game time. So we are now currently at 16 minutes and 20 seconds into the game, and it's nighttime. I don't see any in-game clock to determine or to discern how long these cycles will last or how much longer they will last. Anyway, more skeletons right here on blue side of the map. He's got this pretty much locked down, though. This base, I think, getting replaced by our teal player, Crystal. And, yep, this farm evidently unmanned right now. So this is not going to provide supply or food in this case until it is remanned by 4 peasants. More skeletons for our blue player. The white player pushing the skeletons away from his main base and actually potentially on the move. We have a lot of action right here on the bottom side of the map, and these are the cannons I was talking about. So they do AoE damage. They have a spell that actually allows them to do AoE damage in a kind of like a little circle, but they can also shoot up, which means if you have a bunch of infantry units on the high ground and you throw down some AoE, they're basically all one-shot. It's crazy. Anyway, Bubbas, our red humans player, calling for help. It is now daytime once again, and yep, a lot of yellow stuff here for our yellow player, Popapis, attacking Bubbas, the red humans player. Oh, man, a lot of peasants being pulled to save this town hall right here, which is your main mining base in this case, or this is an expansion. It has not been upgraded yet. Here is our fort, which is not upgraded to a castle. I'm pretty certain you can upgrade them to a castle if I'm not crazy. But Bubba's getting the help he requested from the teal player, Crystal. And it looks like yellow reinforcing this side of the map. We'll see. Bubba's saying white is going to have mass cavaliers. I wonder what made him say that. Is it because he scouted? I don't think he did. Maybe he just saw the stables and he's like, the stable has been alive for a long time and mass cavalier is really strong. Keep in mind, there's no flying units yet, so you don't necessarily need a lot of stuff that shoots up unless stuff is on the high ground. Here we go, though. LoneWolf running back home. And one other thing that I noticed in this game is attacking the main bases is really difficult because of that high ground mechanic. I mean, throwing down virtually your entire army into the high ground and allowing them to shoot from a distance and not taking damage back 9 times out of 10 at least, yeah, it is very, very difficult. So that's probably why LoneWolf was running back, trying to bait his opponent into attacking the base, because once you're attacking the main base, if your opponent has a lot of army supply, it is going to be very difficult to break. Look at this. These cavaliers just running around, dishing out damage, but there's a lot of range here, though, for team number 2, able to attack those horsemen from afar. This one with its face in the dirt. What a violent death indeed. Oh, here we go. More action on the bottom side of the map. I feel like I look one place and then there's action at another right away. Bubba's, our red humans player, taking the high ground once again. But these players are effectively neighbors. And, yep, literally just across the trees, across the forest, you have an enemy. That is going to be brutal to deal with. I feel like these two players, purple and red, are the closest to each other. And in my mind, I don't know, from a strategic standpoint, maybe it would be good to stack most of your army kind of here, like as a team collectively, and then just move out and take out this player as fast as possible, or vice versa for the red player, because, I mean, once you have this one player out of the game, it's turning into like a 2v3 situation instead of a 3v3 situation. But right now, this is still anybody's game. There's a lot of colors on the map. Crystal telling blue to watch for his base, and that is likely because LoneWolf, the white humans player, running towards blue's side of the map. But I don't know. Looks like he decided to change his mind. There are a few stragglers here. I would not want to lose these units if I were Teal, but at the same time, Teal is spotting the army for the white player, and it looks like Purple getting attacked by, I think, 3 players? I can't even tell right now. The minimap's got so many colors. I think, yep, there are blue units here as well. So all 3 players for team number 2 attacking Purple. But the white player, LoneWolf, will be flanking team number 2's army. And there's a lot of melee here for team number 2 and team number 1, at least for the white player. Yep, that is a lot of range, basically just one-shotting these swordsmen. A couple archers here going down immediately. Oh, and here we go. Looks like the Ripper's able to engage this army, but I don't know, man. I really don't know who's going to come out ahead. LoneWolf just has so much stuff. Bubbas, the red humans player, losing some stuff. The Rippers just move so slowly. How much HP does one have, though? Level 2 with 380 HP. That is insane. Yellow bringing in the gladiators. They do spawn with 75 HP at level 1. And it looks like the purple player taking the high ground, running into the castle, and able to use those bow and arrow reserves to take out some of these units. Blue leaving the game just unexpectedly. Bubbas screaming, why? Why, dear God, why? And LoneWolf telling his team, good job. One thing I like about the UI in the replay is you can see both players talking. Or both teams talking, which is really cool. But yeah, Blue leaving the game. I don't know if that means that his resources were distributed. If we go ahead and observe him, it looks like no, because we see he's got money here that is just not moving. So that is unfortunate for team number 2. They don't even get a little bit of a buff by being able to use the other player's base, like in StarCraft, like in team games for StarCraft, where or StarCraft 2 at least, where you basically just take control of the player that is gone, and you also get their resources. Not in this case. Not in this case at all. That is very unforgiving. We'll see how team number 2 handles this, because we are now officially in a 2v3 situation. Red has a lot of stuff, though, and Bubbas, I think he's like rank number 3 in this game, and LoneWolf, I think, is rank number 1. I might have mixed that up, at least at the time that I'm casting this. So these are very strong players for the Scouring. It doesn't have the biggest population, to be fair, but like I said, I see a lot of potential for this game. LoneWolf telling his allies not to engage just yet, and you know what? It is nighttime right now, and the skeletons will be spawning. It doesn't look like they level up in this case, so the skeletons are still unleveled. Looks like they spawn with 60 HP, at least some of them. Here we go, more skeletons here as well. Doesn't look like they spawn with any different name, and all these ones going down almost instantly, and it looks like LoneWolf has his eyes on Teal's base, and Teal deciding to run away, but taking a lot of damage from the mobs. And look at how many skeletons have spawned right now. I think this is like our 3rd or 4th night cycle. I think it's our 3rd, and there's a lot of skeletons. I think Crystal may or may not survive this. They do have a lot of Rippers, though, but this is just so much stuff for our white humans player. But Bubbas, he's got a lot of stuff as well, but the skeletons are kind of bogging him down, and he's unable to reinforce his ally. Will this turn into a 3 versus 1 situation? I'm not so sure, but it might. Oh, man. So many humans here on Teal's side of the map, and Teal does not have a lot of army to speak of. They've got a very modest base right here. They got some farms, a few army units, but this is too much to deal with. Bubbas, though, coming in with the reinforcements might actually force LoneWolf to retreat. If LoneWolf doesn't overextend, he might actually wall himself in here with a bunch of skeletons and enemy human units. Not a bad move. A lot of skeletons here, though, that purple has to deal with as well. I don't think he'll be able to reinforce the white humans player. Oh, wait, we just saw a spell. Where are they? I think that came from an apprentice, if I'm not mistaken. Do we have these in this game mode? Oh, yep, here we go. Right here, the apprentice, a spellcasting unit, and that green bubble we saw was some crowd control from this guy. And they do spawn with 100 HP, which isn't that bad. And as you can see, they do have mana. They have a base of 200 mana that they have to regenerate over time, pretty similar to any other game that requires, any other RTS game that requires spellcasting units, or that has spellcasting units and requires mana. Here we go, though. Teal getting saved by his ally. Now LoneWolf is the one asking for help, taking on Bubba's army right now. Bubba's with the apprentices, able to crowd control some of these units, but it looks like there are apprentices for LoneWolf as well that I missed. And I don't know if LoneWolf will get the help that he's requesting because it's still nighttime. And you know what? Purple and yellow, in this case, I have selected yellow, doesn't really have a lot to help out LoneWolf. And Bubba's might actually turn the tide for this game with this army, able to take out the white humans army, but LoneWolf able to reinforce this pretty quickly. Oh my god. This has just been non-stop action. This is insane. Here we go. Teal getting some units of their own. Yep, some archers and rippers here as well. LoneWolf's like, guys, what's going on right now? We have a lot of stuff that we're dealing with, and it looks like this expansion will be taken out, and this will put LoneWolf back down to 2 bases. To be fair, you take bases a lot slower in this game than in a game like StarCraft, and I'm primarily a StarCraft caster. If you're familiar with me, I cast almost exclusively modded StarCraft, so this is a lot different than my typical cast. But man, I'm telling you, I'm having a lot of fun right now. Looks like yellow finally responding to the call. LoneWolf suggesting either reinforce this army and defend, or go for the kill against red. But red has a lot of stuff right now, and there's, you know what, there's a decent amount of stuff for yellow and purple. LoneWolf speaking the truth. Don't fight alone. You do not want to fight alone in a team matchup. You want to stack your armies or do some sort of harassment while your opponents are distracted. But ideally, in this stage of the game, you want to be stacking your armies. You don't want to fight alone because you're going to end up in like a 2v3 situation or a 1v3 situation. And, yep, just as we said it looks like yellow going for maybe a little bit of a flank, but engaging the teal army. And Bubba's a little bit out of position with the main army to defend against what is going to be a push against his main base. And purple, actually, with a decent amount of stuff and some cannons on the back of this army, they will be able to throw down some AoE damage. But Bubba's, man, you've got a lot of stuff right here. This yellow army, I mean, A for effort, but they are going to go down. There's not enough stuff here for yellow to handle the behemoth of an army that is Bubba's. Oh, but look at this. His army is starving. As you can see, they have like a kind of like a chicken leg animation above their head, and that means that they are starving. They will be walking very, very slowly in that scenario. And look at this. Oh, this is kind of cool. A lot of walls for our purple player. LoneWolf once again saying, don't fight alone. A man of patience. What can I tell you? And this base once again under attack. LoneWolf saying, let him fight at our bases. And check this out. Bubba's able to infiltrate, I think, the main base for team number 1 with the help of Crystal here, our Teal Humans player. LoneWolf with a behemoth of an army himself, but this is a 1v2 situation right now, I think. Oh, wait, no, right here we got some yellow units kind of helping to split the aggro on this army, and now we got chaos all over the map. This is actually insane. And the Rippers, I mean, I don't think they can climb. I think they're too big, so they won't be able to do any damage to these structures, the guard towers in this case, but the one warrior will go down, trying to do some damage. Good effort there. LoneWolf asking for Purple's help, and you know what? I agree. Purple, my guy, I mean, you can do some damage here, but there's a lot of stuff that to defend, I feel like. You want to defend against what is going to be the main army. You want to stack with your allies in this scenario because, I mean, yeah, it looks like yellow may very well get pushed out of the game here. A lot of stuff for LoneWolf, though, running from the top right-hand side of the map. Crystal reinforcing team number 2's army, and I think yellow may or may not go down. Bubba's doing a great job at fighting on 2 fronts. He's got enough defense in the main base to handle purple, but has a lot of stuff here to dish out a bunch of damage to yellow. What a sick, sick play right now. Not a lot of infantry units to climb these barracks, though, which will keep these units safe for a prolonged period of time. Also, no cannons for any of the team number 2 players. Red and teal, neither of them have cannons, so they can't throw down AoE on top of all this stuff. Nonetheless, though, there is range, and they will be able to attack the archers. I do respect Purple trying to push Red out of the game simultaneously, though, but his efforts may or may not go in vain because, yup, it looks like his base is now infiltrated. The white player is trying so hard to help out team number 1 right now. I feel like I'm losing my voice also. There's just been nonstop action for like half an hour. This is insane. But these walls, the barricades, might actually help. We'll see. So the barricades, your allies can walk over them, but your opponents cannot. As you can see, they kind of flatten when you walk over them. So you still have kind of surface area for your units to walk around. You don't necessarily get walled in by your own stuff, which is nice. But I think, you know what? I think LoneWolf might be coming in clutch here, able to finally chase this army. The red army doing a literal lap around the map, running back home to the main base. That is actually hilarious. But look at this, though. Bubbas, he's effectively on 1 base. I mean, he's got 1 mining base here, but that is just about it. Purple, on the other hand, is literally on 1 mining base at this point. There is a castle here, but the only thing it can do is mine trees, and I think we're entering our next night cycle, which means we're going to be seeing a lot of skeletons here shortly, I think.
Our allies' town is under siege.
Oh, man. I really don't know who's going to win right now. I feel like Bubbas and LoneWolf are both the strongest players in this game, and they're both on opposite teams. So we'll see. We'll see who comes out ahead. I mean, Crystal is the only other team player, or the only other team member for team number 2. Meanwhile, there's still all 3 players for team number 1. So keep that in mind. If you want to start taking bets, take them now. Okay, looks like things are quieting down just a little bit. The skeletons have spawned. They will be attacking the church, which allows you to spawn the apprentices. And you know what? It looks like LoneWolf might not really care enough. I think he's going to go for the kill. I mean, the main army is on the other side of the map. Teal is now officially back down on 1 base, and Bubba's moving out himself. Excuse me for that. You know what? I don't know, man. I mean, these armies are dangerously close to each other. LoneWolf asking Yellow to do something. Can Yellow even do anything? He doesn't really have a lot. He's got stuff in the high ground, which I don't blame him because it is nighttime and he doesn't want to lose his stuff to the skeletons. But, you know what? I don't know. I feel like just looking at the minimap, the white army is bigger than the red army. There are a few yellow units here in Purple's base, just not really doing much. The barricades, you know what? I kind of like this strat in the night cycle, at least, because it really keeps the skeletons at bay. And Crystal saying, sorry, I just started this game 2 days ago. You know what, Crystal? You're doing great. For somebody who's only played this game for like 2 days, you're doing a crazy, crazy job. Bubba's saying it's okay, man. We almost had them 2v3, and you know what? For real, I mean, you guys put up a serious fight. The blue player left, I want to say, like, what, 10, 12 minutes ago? Which is pretty insane. LoneWolf telling telling yellow to make reapers. What is a reaper? I've not seen one of those before. I don't know if we've seen one yet. It's possible that there was an update that I missed because this game, like I said, gets updated pretty quick or pretty frequently. And the gladiators, for example, those are a new unit. The Ripper, that's a new unit. And I know that the Reforged mod, which is the mod we're covering right now, I think it also adds new units. But you know what? I think team number 2 can still do this. I mean, look at this. We still have a pretty decent army for teal, and the red army's also really big. There's some decent units here for yellow. Nothing too crazy, but the barricade, it's got to be said, this is going to be really hard to break. And also, if you want to decide to go for the top right instead of the bottom left, you have to deal with this. And this is a lot of stuff. Bubba's saying, let's go for one last push against white. You know what? I like that. Just go for the main army. If you can beat this army, you're still in the game. If you can't, well, you know what? That's all she wrote. And here we go. Looks like one final engagement here against both teams. Looks like Crystal maybe going a little too far north. LoneWolf seeing this army, he's like, you know what, help. This is a lot of stuff. But you know what? LoneWolf, my guy, you got a lot of range, and this is a lot of melee. So if you can keep your archers on the back, which is exactly what you're doing, if you can keep them against a wall and keep them safe against all the melee, you might be able to do something here. One big engagement against team number 2 and team number 1. And just as the fight goes on, daylight has arrived. We see some units, I think, getting leveled up. And you know what? I think LoneWolf might have this. LoneWolf saying, what a majestic battle. This is a very majestic battle indeed. This is absolutely epic. Oh, man. Some units here just doing some moonwalking. And looks like the white humans player able to come out ahead. Bubba's retreating, saying we almost won the 2v3. GG. Presumably these players know each other pretty well because, like I said, they're some of the top players for the Scouring. Getting another battle in here. Oh, he said it in allies only, so repeating it for everybody. LoneWolf returning the GG. Crystal returning the GG. Popapis also returning the GG. Purple's just in his own world right now. That is hilarious. Anyways, victory going to team number 1 on the left-hand side of the map. What an epic Scouring game. Big shout out once again to my members and patrons. I really appreciate the support. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. We are so close to 10K. I can feel it. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.